Hey, Tom here. I'm going to do a little lesson video today. We're going to talk about some jazz guitar concepts I've been thinking about. I guess this all came out of something that I like to do for practice. I like to keep a journal, and just anything, could be a paper, book, could be a notes app on your phone, and just write down things that you learn from other players and that you want to remember, and that are powerful concepts that you can work on. So this came out of that. I want to talk a little bit about the diminished approach chords you can add to any chord a half step below. So say we take like a G minor, nice G minor 7 voicing like that. You could play an F sharp diminished 7 below that when you're comping, when you're playing chords. And then what you could do is, if you know your inversions of G minor, like these guys, up the neck, you can actually take that F sharp diminished, and we know that you can move that up 3 frets, the exact same shape. You don't have to change any fingerings, it's just the same shape moved up. And you can chase the inversions of G minor with that F sharp diminished 7 voicing. So check this out. F sharp diminished 7, G minor, F sharp diminished 7, G minor, F sharp diminished, G minor. You can change it up. You don't have to be perfect in terms of the sequence, but you could use it in your chord soloing. Like here's a G minor, and I'm just going to do like flavors of G minor. Might put it in the 9th, put it in the 11th here on the high C on the 8th fret. And you can use it in your soloing, of course, but here's some. So I'm thinking of Wes Montgomery. You know, he would do stuff like this all the time, and create these really flowing and smooth connected chord solos. And single note, I think he was thinking of these all the time, not just, you know, a guy like Wes, he must have been thinking of chords whenever he was playing single notes as well, of course, right? That kind of goes without saying. But he was never not thinking about chords. So I'm doing some more with G minor here. Here's just some other ideas. You can like riff around a shape. Sometimes it's good for your technique to practice these 4-note voicings. This one here, G minor, this is the 3rd fret barred all the way across, D string. Basically, it's the notes F, B flat, D, G. If you're doing the tablature, it's just 3-3, 3-3. And then the diminished voicing for F sharp is, it's going to be, on the tab, it's going to be 1-2, 1-2. So let's just work there. Now that I showed you the concept, we'll try to break it down some more. So here's your first one again. 3-3-3, 1-2, 1-2. Just try that a few times. You can, it's almost like going, but like beefing it up a little bit more. Let's do the next inversion of G minor. This is going to be, I'm just going to keep doing the tab. I think most people, don't worry if you don't read music or don't know the notes on the fretboard, you can get the numbers with me here. And I apologize to people that would rather have the note names. Just trying to make this accessible to everybody, whether you're a jazz guy or not, or you read music or not. So here it's going to be 5. I'm on the D string now. 5, 7, 6, 6. Okay, so that's on the D string, G string, B, E. 5, 7, 6, 6. That's a G minor 7. And here's your F sharp diminished 4, 5, 4, 5. So 5, 7, 6, 6, 4, 5, 4, 5. Okay, so let's connect it to the first one we learned, which was 3, 3, 3, 3. And here's the 5, 7, 6, 6, 4, 5, 4, 5. Let's do a couple more. Next inversion. Going to be 8, 10, 8, 10. It's G minor. 8, 10, 8, 10. Now for F sharp diminished. 7, 8, 7, 8. okay if you approach it from a half step below. It actually sounds cool if you kind of miss it and then you get into it from a half step below. Wes would do stuff like that too. You know, he would, sounds cool to. I don't know what that is. I'm just going to call that fluttering it. Yeah. Okay. Cool. It's like what Joe Pass said. If you hit a wrong note, just go to one note higher, one note lower, and it'll be a right note. Okay, sorry I got ahead of ourselves there. Let's do the last inversion. So this is going to be G minor. This is going to be G minor with a D in the bass. So it's going to be on the 12th fret here. 12th fret of D, 12th fret of G, 11, and 13. 12, 12, 11, 13. G minor 7. Here's a diminished, just call it like the diminished neighbor, you know. If you really want a sophisticated discussion of this, you got to check out a bebop piano player, Barry Harris. Check out Barry Harris's diminished concept. He will talk about it in terms of dominant 7 flat 9 chords from the other perspective, but it's basically the same sort of idea here. And often he will do it with a minor. Barry Harris, the great bebop piano player, just fantastic teacher, player, original bebop, you know, innovator, along with Charlie Parker. He would do it with minor 6 chords. So he would just take, just to show you how that would translate just for a moment, he would take that first shape we learned for G minor, which was 3 3 3 3. He would go 2 3 3 3, 2 3 3 3. That's a G minor 6. And then he would go do the same F sharp diminished 1 2 1 2. So it gives it a little bit of a darker flavor. If you want to learn it, basically just find the F in the chord, find the F in the G minor chord, drop it down a half step to E, if you know your notes on the fretboard, and it turns your minor 7 into a minor 6 chord. So here in the 5th position, it would be 5 7 5 6 for G minor 6. Then you come down here to F sharp diminished 7 again. And then the Barry Harris approach of doing G minor 6 here would be 8, 9, 8, 10. So see, we dropped the 10th fret of G down to the 9th fret to make a minor 7th, a minor 6. And think about it. It's good to know both approaches. Know the minor 7, minor 6, diminished. It just gives you more motion in that chord. Although it's an internal motion, it's not, the melody's not changing there. So it's pretty subtle. You know what's awesome is this chord here, 8, 9, 8, 10. If you want to put a C bass note under that, it's actually a C dominant 9th chord. So now that you're completely, you know, like, what are you talking about, man? Totally, potentially confused. I know some of you aren't. Some of you are just like, I'm bored. This is easy stuff. I'm a jazz player. I've heard this a million times. But if you haven't, this voicing has a lot of uses. It's a C minor, C dominant 9th voicing if you put a C in the bass. It's a G minor 6. And there's a couple of you out there that are saying you're already rattling off the other uses. Just check it out. Like, think about those notes. B flat, E, G, D. There's a lot of different possibilities for this. So let's just leave it at that for right now. So we're going to just review everything we did so far. We're actually, before we do that, let's do the high one. So we did 12, 12, 11, 13. And then we're going to do 10, 11, 10, 11 for F sharp diminished 7. Right, so those are all of them. All right, so if anyone has any questions, just leave them in the comments and everything, like we always do. And you can always feel free to reach out to me anytime, you know, here, and I'll try to respond. But just free lesson. You know, this is not intended to replace a traditional guitar lesson where a student would be able to ask questions. We'd break it down. We'd be able to do some composition and I'd be able to write some examples out for you and provide that, PDF, or so you could look at that on paper and work on it. Obviously, it'd be a lot more organized because we'd be going through a systematic, disciplined approach to learn it. Right now, I'm just showing you stuff, totally off the cuff. Yeah. So what I challenge you to do is learn your arpeggios around these things too. And I'll do that maybe a little bit right now, but in a future lesson. So what I mean by that is, know how to play G minor 7 here. 5, 3, 3, 6. And then know your diminished 7 arpeggio start on the D string. 4, 2, 1, 4. Okay. Now if you know your arpeggios all over, you might end up with something like this. I'm just going to riff a little bit. Sounds like bebop right there, right? Because that's one of the devices of bebop, is this approach. Diminished. Just a lot of chromatic. That's coming out of that Pat Martino. He had these great ideas of, it's kind of like minor chord activities, he would call them. Kind of sloppy because it's the first thing I played all day. Check out that major 6 there on the minor chord. That's talking about ear training. It's easy to hear that note. All right, so it feels like a good place to stop for right now. I feel like I went on pretty long about that. So thanks for checking everything out. Be sure to look at my other videos. I'm kind of doing a mixture of jazz guitar. I was really into country guitar, still am, but trying to learn how to do some of the chicken picking. And then I kind of just go through these phases of, checking out new music and being open to anything. I encourage you to do the same. Just be completely open-minded. I found that learning some of that country stuff helped me be a little bit more concise when I take solos, because those guys, they take a solo, they've got like 20 or 30 seconds to make their statement and make it count. Whereas, I'm just saying, sometimes with jazz, we have the luxury of a few more minutes to stretch out, so there's not as much, the story might take longer to develop if you're listening to a jazz guitarist who's playing a 5 to 10 minute solo versus a country guitar player who just says they got to get in, get out, make a quick statement, catch the audience's attention, and leave a good impression and just create some excitement too. So I encourage you to check out all their music, and if you really want to hear this diminished stuff in action, just listen to some Wes Montgomery, especially that period, like from the Incredible Jazz Guitar album, Smoking at the Half Note, and the best one, my favorite, Boss Guitar, with Jimmy Cobb and is it Melvin Ryan on organ. Just check out Wes's playing on Boss Guitar, that organ trio album he did. It's my favorite. Definitely check out tunes like The Trick Bag. Check out what's the other one? Fried Pies. Like, he would do a lot of stuff with diminished chords throughout his solos in those, as well as octaves, of course. All right, guys. Have a good day.